Roman marriage evolved from a legal contract securing family ties to a Christian sacrament, reflecting a shift from patriarchal authority to spiritual commitment under church influence. In ancient Rome, marriage was more than a personal bond. It was a social, legal, and political institution. It helped secure alliances, pass on property, and preserve family honor. Over the centuries, Roman marriage evolved dramatically, reflecting broader shifts in culture, religion, and law. In the early Republic, marriage was primarily a contract between families. There were two main types, cum manu and sine manu. In a cum manu union, the wife passed under her husband's legal authority, becoming part of his family. This form of marriage was common among the patrician elite and reflected the deeply patriarchal structure of Roman society. By contrast, sine manu marriages allowed women to remain legally tied to their birth families, offering greater independence. This form became more common over time, especially as women gained legal rights during the late Republic and Empire. There were also three principal forms of Roman marriage, each with unique characteristics. Confarreatio was the most formal and sacred, reserved for the aristocracy. It was marked by religious ceremony and symbolism, including the sharing of a sacred cake made of spelt. This form was often used to ensure political or religious continuity, and included the transfer of the bride into her husband's legal family. Coemptio was more transactional. It involved a symbolic sale of the bride, transferring her from her father's authority to her husband's. While it lacked the sacred elements of confarreatio, it was still recognized legally and practiced widely among plebeians. Usus, by contrast, was the most informal. It required no ceremony, just a couple living together for a year. If uninterrupted, they were legally considered married. This form was common among lower classes and offered a path to union without financial or ritual burdens. Marriage ceremonies in pre-Christian Rome were highly ritualized. They began with a betrothal, often including a contract, and the arrangement of a dowry, an essential part of the marriage's financial structure. The bride would wear a flame-colored veil, a white tunic, and her hair in 6 braids. Religious rituals honored deities like Juno, Venus, and Tellus, seeking blessings for fertility and prosperity. The wedding itself included the joining of hands, dextrarum iunctio, a public symbol of union, followed by a feast. A staged abduction of the bride and a lively procession to the groom's house were typical, involving family, torches, and symbolic gestures like tossing walnuts to mark the groom's transition to adulthood. Upon entering the home, the bride spoke the traditional vow, Ubi Gaius, ego Gaia. Where you are Gaius, I will be Gaia. As Christianity spread across the empire, Roman marriage changed significantly. By late antiquity, sine manu and informal unions had become dominant, with marriages based more on mutual agreement than legal formality. Christianity infused marriage with new spiritual meaning. It became not just a social contract, but a sacred covenant. Christian marriages moved into churches. The ceremony, now led by a priest, emphasized divine blessing, fidelity, and moral duty. While elements like betrothal and dowry remained, their meaning shifted. Vows became more solemn, expressing a shared intention to build a Christian household rooted in love and faith. Traditional attire evolved. Brides often wore white to symbolize purity, and grooms adopted more solemn clothing adorned with Christian symbols. The Church emphasized chastity, unity, and lifelong commitment. Divorce, once relatively easy in Roman law, became more restricted, as marriage was seen as a sacrament that could only be dissolved under serious circumstances. The ceremony itself included blessings, prayers, and often the Eucharist, signaling the spiritual foundation of the union. The priest's role was central, invoking God's guidance and framing the marriage as a divine institution. All materials have been developed under the Erasmus Plus program as part of the S.P.Q.R. project. This project is carried out by a wide partnership of esteemed organizations, with the Interactive Bulgaria Foundation serving as the project coordinator. Other partners include Mos Maiorum Ulpiae Serdicae and the National High School for Ancient Languages and Cultures, Konstantin Kirill Filosov from Bulgaria, the European Schools Brussels IV from Belgium, Asociația Culturală Tomis from Romania, Familia Gladiatoria Egiesulet from Hungary, and Geza Frank from Austria. In addition, 18th High School Sofia and Dwolf Studio from Bulgaria are contributing as associated partners. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to exploring more of history's fascinating chapters together.